So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you what's going on out to the west. There's nothing happening here in central Georgia besides a couple of clouds, but here is the big picture, and you can see where the line has already started to form. And not only that, but it's kind of spurred up some storms ahead of where the line has formed that's kind of impacting North Georgia. Look at all those lightning strikes right there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take you in closer to this line right here where you see all of these severe thunderstorm warnings and these 2 tornado warnings. That is the line that I'm talking about that's heading our direction. Again, it's not going to be until later tonight, early Sunday morning, but let's take a look at what it's doing out to our west right now. First, I'm actually going to pop on the Storm Prediction Center outlook so you can see who's sitting under what category and what kind of conditions they have at the moment. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here so we can talk about what we're seeing over the kind of Mississippi, Louisiana, and Arkansas border here. You can see that they're kind of teetering between a level 3. Let me actually flip off the radar just for a second so I can talk about what I'm saying. You can see that they're kind of teetering between a level 3 and a level 4 here, and then that's a level 2 right there, or a level 1 right there. 2, excuse me. They're teetering between a level 3, a level 2 just out here, and then a level 4 out this way. So they're kind of along the lines of a level 3, which is what we're sitting under here in central Georgia. And I'll note something. They have several severe thunderstorm warnings, which is something we're expecting to see. We'll likely have some severe thunderstorms for the early morning hours on Sunday, but they've also got 2 tornado warnings here, which is something that we're watching for our area as well. So this may give us kind of an idea of something that we could expect to see in our area. I'll say though, this line is actually strengthening as it heads further towards the east, whereas here in central Georgia, we're going to be doing the opposite. So this line is getting stronger as it pushes into Mississippi. It's going to be getting weaker as it pushes into our area. So I don't want you to be too alarmed by the fact that there are a couple tornado warnings and maybe it looks like it's gaining strength as it heads this way. That's expected. It's going to keep gaining strength until it gets to the worst part, which is going to be right here over the eastern part of Mississippi and the western part of Alabama. And then as it starts heading our direction, it's going to start weakening. So don't be too alarmed by that. But that is something we're going to look at here for just a minute. So let's flip back on the radar, and I'm actually going to go ahead and take off the boxes that you see there with the Storm Prediction Center outlook so that we can just get a little bit of a better picture of what's going on here at the border. So what's actually happening, and we can flip on our radar. I'm doing my best to find a radar that will give us a picture of Louisiana. So let's see, I think I do have one here. Yes. All right. Let's take off this so that it's not so distracting. Okay, so this is the radar that I'm able to kind of tap into. There's a couple of gaps in data, so we're seeing some of this gray color here. Don't get too hung up on that. That's just because we're tapping into a different radar that's not been running the whole time. We're going to have a little bit of a gap in the information, but you can see generally some pretty strong thunderstorms. So these have spurred up severe thunderstorm warnings across the area, and on occasion they have spurred up a couple of tornado warnings. So I've been watching this specific line all morning long to kind of see what it's doing and pay attention to it. And you can see the whole area where this line is already existing. This red box that you're seeing here is a tornado watch. So they're already in a tornado watch, which means the conditions are possible for a tornado to form. So it's not super crazy that we're seeing tornado warnings spur up. That is one of the things that we're watching as this line rolls into the area. We can take a look at, just so you can get an idea of what the tornado warnings actually are looking like. There is a look at this one here in kind of the Lake Province area. You can see kind of the signature of rotation right here. And maybe I'm able to get a better picture of it with the regular velocity here. Yeah, right there, right above Lake Province, that's where you're seeing the rotation. Let's see if we're getting any sort of picture of debris in the air as well. A little bit hard to tell because of the radar that I'm on right now. It does not look like super high resolution data, but it does look like when you kind of see some of these blue colors, that's usually an indication of debris in the air. The reason I'm not 100% sure is because you can see that kind of extends into this whole area. So I could be getting a little bit messy data, but there is a tornado warning that potentially does have some debris in that area right now. So they have a couple of tornado warnings, one also over Monroe. Let's see if we can get a picture of this one as well. Not seeing really a signature of debris on the correlation coefficient here. Again, messy data. We'll have much better data in our central Georgia area, so don't worry about that being a problem for us. It's just a little bit messy on this radar picture here, but let's go ahead and flip it over to the velocity. Let's see if we can get a picture of the rotation. Not quite so much. Let me see if I can do one more product. Yeah, so I'm not quite able to get a good reading on the rotation on this specific tornado warning, again, because of some of the gaps that I have in the data with this radar. You can see when we go big picture like this, the radar only extends right out to where you're seeing that gray edge here. So that's why it's a little bit messy. When you're on the end of a radar like this, it's kind of hard to get a really accurate reading. But yes, there are some tornado warnings along this line, several severe thunderstorm warnings, which means the winds are gusting somewhere up to around 60 miles per hour in this area as well. So just kind of taking a look at some of the general threats that we could be seeing. But like I said, this line is actually getting stronger as it pushes out towards the east when it's heading our direction. Hopefully it will be doing some weakening. So that's kind of a picture of what's going on here. Let's flip it back over to the reflectivity just so we can see what these shapes look like here. And you're seeing an area of purple as well in some of these, which is another threat we're watching. Sometimes when you get a really high reflectivity value like this, where you get purple colors, that's usually an indication that there can be some hail embedded in that area as well. So maybe also picking up on some hail, which is another potential threat that we're watching when the line rolls into our area. So my point in showing you all of this is to show you this is just kind of the things that we're paying attention to for our area as well. I don't want you to get too hung up on it. I don't want you to say, this is exactly what's going on in this area. That means we're going to have the same exact impacts. I'm just showing you things that are possible, things that we're paying attention to, and kind of the reason that we'll be watching this line while it makes its way into Mississippi. So that's kind of big picture there, what's going on at the moment, how it's already beginning to form. And let me see if I can flip back over to our greater radar that will show us everything going on here. And kind of give us a little clearer picture. But yes, there is the line. It's ahead of a cold front. So at the surface, a cold front is pushing all of those ingredients that I just talked about, all of the warm air that's created energy in the atmosphere, all of the moisture, and it's pushing up all these storms up into the air and then creating some pretty gusty storms, at least severe thunderstorms, and at times tornado warnings as well. So that's a picture of it right now, heading over into Mississippi, and it's going to continue tracking east until it's to our area late tonight, early Sunday morning. A couple of storms have spurred up ahead of this as well, which is what you're seeing in southern Tennessee here. And I will say something that has encouraged me this morning is, let me flip back on the outlook from the SBC. Earlier this morning when we were in the newscast, the Storm Prediction Center made another update to the boxes that you're seeing here, or the outlook that you're seeing here. This level 4 that we kind of saw extended westward into parts of Georgia, they went ahead and extended it partly into southern Tennessee this morning. I keep getting questions about, do you think that we're going to be extended into the level 4? Is that a possibility for us? And there is a possibility always that the Storm Prediction Center can kind of change things. That's the point. They want to kind of get ahead of these things and let us know with as much time as possible if the risk has changed. So I will say it's always on the table, but the good news is they've already made several changes to the level 4. They extended it into western Georgia last night, and then this morning they extended it into southern Tennessee. With both of those changes, they haven't been extended into central Georgia. So that left me encouraged when I saw that they made another update to the box this morning, and they still maintained a level 3 for us. I think that is good news. It just kind of grazes Upson County right here, that level 4, but it's not been pushed any further into our area. So hopefully that addresses kind of that question there, and maybe gives you a little bit of encouragement as we get closer to seeing this line in our area. So there's the big picture with all the risks on there as well. Remember, this is the crucial area. This is where the National Weather Service is saying a tornado outbreak is likely, not that situation for us here in central Georgia. We are continuing to watch this line decrease in intensity as it heads into our area. We're going to pay attention to it. We're watching for some of those risks, strong thunderstorms and potential tornadoes, but it is not going to be like it is out here in Alabama and like it's heading into that direction. Remember, I said it's strengthening as it makes its way towards this pink area, as it makes its way towards the orange and the yellow, weakening. So I just want to re-emphasize all of those things for you so that you have a really grand understanding of what's going on, especially when you see all of these crazy colors, especially when you're hearing that tornado warnings are being issued out towards our west. I just want you to have a grand understanding of what's going on here in our atmosphere and what's heading our direction. So let's take a look now at the future view, and we can talk a little bit more about specific timing for us in central Georgia. So like I said, it's heading out towards Mississippi and towards Alabama. You can see the future view has picked up on that, what we call initializing. So when a model picks up on what's happening in the atmosphere right now, that's what it's doing out towards the west. It's picked up on the fact that it spurred up some storms. So predicting that it will be kind of in the Alabama area by later this evening, 7, maybe 8 p.m., and then making its way across state lines close to around midnight. So we keep saying that the weather impact alert is for Saturday night into Sunday morning. This is really a Sunday morning situation for us in central Georgia. By around midnight, we could be seeing a couple storms. You may be hearing a couple rumbles of thunder from the line out towards the west, but it's going to be really kind of entering our northwestern counties here. We're talking Lamar, Monroe, Jasper, Putnam by the early morning hours Sunday around 1 to 2 in the morning. So this is a little misleading. This timestamp here in the latest model run has gotten a little bit later. I would say for our northwestern areas, we're talking as early as 1 to 2 a.m. I'm thinking it's more likely that this is going to run a little bit earlier than 3 in the morning. But what we've seen is it's going to be a slow mover. So it's going to be sticking with us for most of the morning here. We're at 5 a.m. on the timestamp, and it's just kind of now in the Macon, Warner Robins area. It'll take some time to get through here, and then kind of heading into our southeastern counties here, Dublin area, maybe 6, 7 in the morning, and not really in our very southeasternmost counties until maybe 8, 9 in the morning. So it's going to take some time for this whole thing to sweep across here and not really leaving until maybe 10 or 11 in the morning. So it's going to be a little bit of a slow mover. I know we've had a couple of lines come through in the past few months or so. The one that I keep saying most notably because it was the most recent was the one we had in February, and that thing whipped through here very quickly. It was done in about 4 or 5 hours. This one's going to take a little bit longer, so we got to be patient, and then it will finally make its way out of here by the late morning.